Even though the world was stacked against them, they were able to come out on top. This is the incredible true story of 10 outstanding people who defied the odds, overcame insurmountable obstacles, and made it through to recount their incredible tales of survival. Number 10. Louis Zamperini. Zamperini represented the United States in track at the 1936 Olympics before he enlisted in the military. His plane went down in the ocean 3 years after he enlisted following his 1940 graduation from USC. They avoided Japanese planes while fending off sharks, hypothermia, dehydration, heat exhaustion, and starvation alongside fellow survivors Russell Phillips and Francis McNamara. After 33 days, McNamara passed away, but Zamperini and Phillips were taken prisoner by the Japanese. Until the war's end, Zamperini was held as a prisoner, and he later reflected on the difficulties he had to overcome, such as beatings and attempts to strip him of his honor. Back in the States, he continued to struggle with drinking, but hearing Billy Graham's sermons gave him hope. He went back to Japan several times and was even the torchbearer for the Nagano Olympics in 1998. In 2014, at age 97, Zamperini passed away. Number 9. Dick Williams. Williams, who was on the Titanic with his father, Charles, helped valiantly herd passengers into lifeboats as the vessel sank. Charles tragically perished when a funnel collapsed on him as they climbed into a lifeboat. Williams endured serious frostbite in his legs after making it aboard a collapsible lifeboat from the frigid sea. Williams said he would need his legs and ignored the doctor's advice to have them amputated. While the doctor frowned, he strolled around the rescue ship's deck to get his blood pumping again. 12 weeks is an extremely short amount of time, but Williams was back in action. Number 8. VESNA VULOVIC. On January 26, 1972, VESNA VULOVIC was flying with Yugoslav Airlines from Copenhagen to Belgrade for work reasons related to a missed flight. The jet went down over present-day Czech territory. Her 3-inch stiletto heels had been torn off by the impact when rescuers found her in the still-smoking wreckage, her legs sticking out. VULOVIC miraculously made it out of the crash with only minor injuries, including a shattered skull, broken spine, and other trauma. After losing a lot of blood, she slipped into a coma and stayed there for 3 days. She was the only one of the 28 passengers on board to survive. Number 7. BAHIA BAKARI. When the plane she was aboard crashed into the Indian Ocean when she was just 13 years old, BAKARI clung to a piece of wreckage for more than 9 hours while fighting fatigue and blindness. When a rescue team located her, a courageous sailor by the name of Libuna Selemani Matrafi swam to her aid. A French hospital attended to her fractured collarbone, cold, and bruising. BAKARI wrote a book on her experience, titled Moi Bahia, La Miraculously, and published it in 2010. Filmmakers wanted to adapt her film into a movie, but she turned them down, saying that no one would be able to recreate the fear she felt. Number 6. Angela Hernandez. When Angela Hernandez swerved to avoid a small animal on July 2018, her SUV went off the side of Highway 1 at Big Sur and fell about 200 feet to a deserted beach below. She remarkably survived the crash despite having a brain hemorrhage, shattered ribs, a broken collarbone, and ruptured blood vessels in both eyes and a collapsed lung. She woke up surrounded by water and used a multi-tool to smash her window before swimming to shore, where she promptly passed out. When she woke up again, she was shoeless and hurt, but she was determined to get aid. She walked for days along the shore, attempting to get the attention of people in the cars driving by on the cliff, but no one paid attention to her. Hikers exploring the beach came across Hernandez by chance as she slept among the rocks near her broken Jeep. They started a water supply and rescue mission. Her 7-day ordeal ended when rescuers hoisted her to safety using ropes and rushed her to the hospital. Number 5. Stephen Callahan. After Stephen Callahan sailed his 6.5-meter sloop solo across the Atlantic Ocean in January 1981, he began the journey home. His boat sank in the middle of the night during a violent storm because a whale or shark had punctured it. Callahan repeatedly dove back into the sinking ship to retrieve life-saving supplies. He was 800 miles west of the Canaries on a circular raft that was just 6 feet in diameter, and he was running out of food and water fast. He caught fish with a spear rifle and distilled water using a solar still. On day 14, he attempted to signal for assistance from a passing ship, but it did not stop. After becoming lost from the shipping lanes for a month, he was already suffering from salty sores, dehydration, and a hole in his raft by the 50th day. Callahan was found by some fishermen off the shore of Guadalupe after a grueling trek, during which he lost a third of his body weight and overcame enormous obstacles. The fish guts he dumped back into the water attracted a flock of birds and a school of fish that circled his raft. Astonishingly, he had been lost at sea for 76 days. Number 4. Harrison Okene. Harrison Okene, a Nigerian chef, was helping to stabilize an oil tanker in the Atlantic Ocean while working on a tugboat. The boat capsized due to the rough seas and sank into the ocean abyss 100 feet below. Okene, the only survivor of the accident, stumbled through the pitch black to the engineer's office. He was able to breathe thanks to the air pocket in the ceiling of his office, which was roughly 4 feet in height. He used the mattress as an improvised float and stayed in the air pocket for more than 60 hours. A group of divers who had been dispatched to recover the dead found him and brought him to safety. Number 3. Aron Ralston. Ralston set out on a solo hike across Utah's Blue John Canyon in April 2003, but fate had other plans. His fate in the tight slot canyon was sealed when a large boulder weighing 800 pounds fell on his arm, trapping him there forever. Ralston struggled with misery and despair for 5 agonizing days, certain he would never escape alive. Time running out, he scratched his name, birth date, and expected death date into the canyon wall and recorded heartfelt farewell words for his loved ones. Then a vision of a child emerged and showed him the exit. Ralston, motivated to an extreme degree, amputated his own limb with a simple multi-tool. It was a remarkable example of human resilience and resourcefulness under extreme pressure. Number 2. Dr. Juliane DILLER. Leaving Lima, Peru for the isolated Amazon research outpost of Panguana in 1971, Juliane Kopka and her mother Maria were destined for tragedy. Their jet crashed when it was hit by lightning, which caused the plane to crash. Somehow, Juliane was able to survive the collision and find herself awake on Christmas morning beneath the rubble. A broken collarbone, sprained knee, and severe puncture wounds to the shoulder and leg were among her injuries. Despite the fact that she had trouble seeing, she kept pushing on. Juliane traveled bravely for 11 days across the treacherous Amazon jungle. Every movement was a struggle against discomfort, tiredness, and the unforgiving terrain. Workers in the jungle were lucky enough to come across this strong young woman. Her requirements were met despite her condition. She was fed, and her wounds were cleaned with gasoline to kill the maggots. Number 1. Tsutomu Yamaguchi. The Japanese naval engineer Tsutomu Yamaguchi lived through 2 atomic blasts. After the U.S. exploded an atomic bomb on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, he suffered temporary blindness, radiation burns, and a damaged eardrum. Surprisingly, 3 days later, for work, he returned to Nagasaki. And while he discussed the Hiroshima bombing, Nagasaki was also hit. He was unharmed despite being located less than 2 miles from Nagasaki's epicenter. Yamaguchi battled radiation-related health problems in his latter years, but nevertheless managed to live until 2010. His miraculous survival through 2 nuclear strikes is an inspiring demonstration of the human capacity for fortitude and perseverance. So that's all the time we had today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon to remain updated about all our future videos. See you all next time.